Today we're checking out the versatile New Holland 4-wheel drive tractors from Bcbuhler Farms. These tractors cover from the 1994 introduction of the Ford Versatile 980 series all the way up to the 2015 Versatile 2375 Classic. Now, if you were watching this the day that the video comes out, you can actually download this right now if you guys are on PC on Bcbuhler's itch page. We'll make sure we leave that down below. If you're on console though, don't worry. You can also download this on the mod up once it has passed testing. Today we're going to be taking a look at all of the customization, the features, everything that you could do with the tractor, and more. So sit back and relax. This is going to be a fun one. First things first, this is actually a pack. We have the New Holland version on the left, and then we have the Versatile version on the right. If we jump into the New Holland, you'll see we actually have a Ford brand to start off with. However, when we change the engine setup, we change over to a New Holland. The Versatile is just a Versatile. So it's up through there. We do have a couple different designs for it though. So very cool. Let's start with the blue ones. We got 300 horsepower base with the Ford engine and 310 on the New Holland stuff. We got a manual transmission, 925 liters, 21 miles an hour, 13.3 tons. It starts at $191,000. Your Ford's, well, say Ford engine. It's not really a Ford engine. It's just the Ford setup. These are going to be available on a 300, 350, 400 horsepower options. Then the New Holland's going to be available in this livery in a 310, 360, and 425. Then we change it up a little bit. So like the front grille changes up and we get the logo moved around, things like that. These are also available in a 310, 360, and 425. But this one is available in a 500 horsepower tuned engine as well for an extra 37 grand. Wheel options include Trelleborg, Michelin, Continental, Midas, BKT, Vredestein, and Lizard. However, there's also a second set of Trelleborg tires on here too, if you guys wanted to change those up. I don't know if these are like a new Trelleborg. I don't know if I've ever even seen these T414s. I'm not familiar with those. Either way, they are absolutely gorgeous. My favorite are the Lizard Trip number 2s. However, you can kind of see through there. We have a lot of like narrow, dual, and triple options, and then we have a couple big super duals as well, and I think 1 or 2 set of singles in there too. Then we get into accessories. We have a radio on the inside, lighting. So here is your regular light. Then we switch over to an LED. So every single light on here changes to LED around the front, around the back, everything. And also we go from having 4 lights in the grill to having a big old light bar. I think that's very cool. It's actually based off something Bcbuhler Farms saw in real life. So 2 thumbs up for realism there. GPS, you've got that. Mirrors, we got some extra mirrors which could be added. Hazard lights, those could be added there too, around towards front. And then we have a tent on the window, and then a front weight, which has got all kinds of different weights from 150 kgs all the way up to 1,230. Goodness gracious. Lastly, let's flip around towards the back. We've got attachers of a standard hitch. You've got a mid-weight. You've also got both weights, rear weight by itself, PTO, and then we also have the PTO with those and a big old hitch on the back. Goodness gracious. How much does it weigh with both weights? 16.8 tons. Holy cow, adds an extra 2 tons of weight on there. Then we move over to the red tractor. At least it's red right now. We can actually make this one blue as well. Engines, though, none of these are going to say Ford on them. We have a 310, 360, and 375 horsepower. Then we jump over to a different livery, which also is available in the 375, a 425, and the 500 horsepower engine. So we've got those. Love seeing it. Let's flip over to the 500. We have the same wheel options here, so we won't go through them. Radio, lights for the LEDs, GPS, mirrors, hazard lights, and windows. Now, if we go to a 2002 model, we can actually make this thing blue, but if we go to the 2002 Plus, then it is red. We have the same front weights, same attachers, and then license plate if you want it. We'll take a quick look around. So we've got the Ford Versatile version right here, and then we've got those tires that I really, really like. What do they call these? Deep Tread 23s, I think, something like that. Anyway, absolutely gorgeous setup through there. I do have all the lights turned on, and we've got some hazard lights turned on as well. I wish that we could turn on hazard lights on consoles. For some reason, Giants haven't let us do that yet. Now let's jump over and we'll take a look at the interior in here. Of course, we've got important safety signs right there, which we can actually read, which I absolutely love. Here's around towards the rest of the interior. spinning it around up at the top, just kind of get an idea. Tell you what, if you zoomed in enough, I bet you could read all of that. The detail on this thing, it's just crazy, absolutely crazy. Let's turn it on. So we can see down at the bottom, we've got the key set up. Everything is moving. As you can see, we also have everything that moves around. So we're changing up our high and low settings. We're also changing up our gears. So the 1, 2, 3, and 4. All of that works. Bringing it in. It's just a wild setup, ain't it? Absolutely. Of course, we've got our gas pedal down there, throttle rather, and then we got everything else, brakes and all that good stuff too. Let's see, clickers, we've got those that work just fine. All the lights, of course, those work. And one interesting thing, so to the right of the steering wheel, I don't know if you can see over there, we've actually got a dial, and I can move this dial, and the dial will actually change things on the dashboard. So we've got right here, which just shows us our, I believe, engine speed. Yeah, engine speed and the time that it is in the game. If we flip that over to fuel, so we've got 100 liters of fuel in here, I believe, anyway. And then we've got, I assume, our fuel economy, maybe? I'm not quite sure. And then if we flip that over a little bit more, I think that's miles per hour. Yeah, miles per hour. And then one more, I'm assuming that is engine hours. We actually don't say, it just says that it has a dash with selectable screens based on the dial controlled by loader controls, which is your mouse control, aka for me it's left stick and move it all around. Still, I think that's very, very cool. We can also raise and lower the steering wheel. So if you wanted to do that, you could do that. And those are the two animations that we've got in here. Now let's just enjoy the sound. Because we are using the Ford version right here, I'm going to grab a tool that will push this engine to its limit. So this has got 400 horsepower. We're going to grab this bad boy right here, the Vaderstad NZ Extreme. This also requires 400 horsepower. So this should be a perfect test between the two, just to hear the absolute limit. We could probably pull more, let's be honest, but this will do for now. And just so we get the full extent of what I could do, let's start at the bottom of a hill. It doesn't even care. It's just going, man. Let's enable fast farm and see what kind of trouble we can get ourselves into with that. Maybe not as much trouble. We're definitely doing fine, though. Going over grass is not too big of a deal. You know what, though? I mean, this is just doing it to it. I think we could probably put a little bit of a bigger pull on this thing, so maybe something that requires maybe 450, maybe 475 horsepower. 500 at least on this setup might be pushing it a little bit, but you know what? This has not done too bad. If we can get this thing into like a medium range, I think we might have done a little bit better there at the high end. We'll just see how it does going downhill. I'm sure we'll hit 21 miles an hour, probably just fine. See, 16, I don't know, 17. Yeah, it'll go. If we were going downhill a little bit more, I don't think there'd be any issues whatsoever. This is a monster. And this isn't even the biggest one in the range. I love it. So real quick, let's talk about the Ford branding for a minute, because as we've seen, some tractors have been allowed with Ford branding and some equipment, and some have not. Well, I'm assuming that we should see this one fine because we've got the Ford and Versatile branding on there. And as you may know, we also have the Ford Versatile stuff in the Plains Prairies pack. So because it's similar, I'm assuming that this won't be an issue. I know the BC is keeping an eye on it, and if there's any problems, I imagine he'll just remove the Ford versions of these. However, I think this one should make it through. Like I said, we've seen a couple others that are not part of the DLC and in no way, shape, or form even related to it as much as this is, which were allowed. So I think we'll be okay. So there you go. That is what I've got for you for today on the versatile new Holland 4-wheel drive tractors from Bcbuhler Farms. Again, if you guys are on PC and you're watching this when it's released, you can download these right now via the link in the description beside Bcbuhler Farms itch.io. If you have any questions, please let me know. And big shout out to BC for sending over a little bit of extra information to share with you guys. These are very, very exciting tractors. Really looking forward to the release of these, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to see these on my next series. Regardless, just hope you have an awesome day. We'll see you in the next one.